So today's Father's Day, and Father's Day is kind of a weird holiday for me. I was raised by a single woman. Had a couple of stepdads. Um, yeah, two. Um, and never met my father. That being said, I have the same stance about fathers that I do about mothers. You do not have to be a biological parent to have fulfilled the role of a parent or to be a parental figure. And so I want to share with you some of the people that have fulfilled the parental figure, the father roles in my life. Um, Number one being my mother. You know, it is not easy being a single parent and trying to fulfill both roles because when you have two parents, they provide different things, different perspective. And when you're a single parent, you do it all, and it's hard. Um, Number two has to go to my Uncle Keith. I'm not ranking these necessarily in importance, but it is pretty. It kind of works that way because um, you know, mom comes first. But my Uncle Keith, he was a he was a, I don't know, a calm wise man. He's a calm wise man. He's um, always been there when I needed him, when I reached out. I mean, been a very someone I looked up to a lot. Worked his ass off to get where he's at, and he's just a smart, funny guy. And my memory, uh, one of my favorite memories is being outside at my grandmother's house, and there was a storm cellar, old metal cone shaped storm cellar, and he says, "I bet I can hold my hand on this longer than you can." And I just, all right, let's go. And I slap my head on there, and I'm holding it, and it's hot. It's hot. This is summer. It's hot as shit. I'm holding it. And then I'm like, and he's like, "I got you." And then he says, "So let me tell you how I did that." He says, "I never touched the cellar." And I looked at him, he goes, "Look." And he says, "I just held my hand above it." And it's like those nuggets of wisdom of let me put you through an experience and then show you how you could have done it differently. And regardless of, I'm not here to talk about gender and bullshit, but people teach in different ways. And one of the common ways in which I have seen that fathers teach is that they let you experience something and then they talk to you about it. It's not a lot less warning and a lot more, well, that hurt, didn't it? you know? And, you know, I think I got a lot of that with my mother purely because of just being in a spot where it was like, well, you did that. Now what? But I really cherish that memory and other memories where I just had one-on-one, down-to-earth conversations with my uncle, and it makes me really emotional because it reminds me of um, why I want to work so hard to be a good uncle and to be a positive presence in the lives of the children in my life. Because sometimes a calm voice of reason is the reason you keep trying. And my uncle's been that several times. Another one is my best friend Justin, his dad Rick. He's actually someone who taught me a lot of what I know about guitar. He's just a funny guy. Um, one of my favorite memories with him is he's just goofy, but like subtly goofy. He'd come in and he would speak with this British accent, and he would go on this like rant, and he would kind of like riff off of me and Justin. But he would like it would change based off of what we did. If we laughed, he'd be like, "Oh, simpletons," laughing at me, and they don't know my brilliance. And it's hard to explain how funny he is without you being there. but he made me laugh. He made me feel like I could always go to him. Um, he let me play his expensive guitars, and he just let he hung out with me and Justin in there, and I love him dearly. Um, Another one, it's actually going to be um, my father-in-law from my previous marriage, Damon Pierce. He's got an attitude about him. He's got a bite, um, but he cared and he was there. And it's kind of interesting when you get to know somebody and you see that underneath this hard exterior of a person who's had to fight so much in their life, you just see a warm heart, and it's guarded. And it's heavily guarded because it's been hurt a lot. And I just really appreciate my time with him because he didn't have to care as much as he did. He didn't have to be so involved. He didn't have to look out for me like he did, but he did. And I love him dearly for it. It's, I think, one of my there's a lot of memories with him, a lot of great ones. Um, I'm trying to pin one down. I remember one. So when me and my ex-wife were having trouble figuring out how we were going to pay bills, and he says, if I were to loan you some money, what would you do? And sat down and figured out, okay, if you loan us that money, we pay this bill, we get caught up, and then be able to pay you off in like this time frame. We'd probably be able to afford to make these kind of payments a month. And he sat down with me and said, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. And he says, if you didn't, that's what I was going to talk to you through, but you got it. And it was like, I got you, but you're still going to learn. And, another one is my current father-in-law, Raymond. I don't know what I did to be treated so well by him, but I'm really glad I did. I think it involves loving his daughter and being a good husband to her and taking care of her. I say taking care of her as if she'll let me. She's stubborn, but I don't know. We talk a lot, and just spending time around each other. He's a stubborn ass, hard-working man that I respect a lot, and I respect everybody I've talked about so far. To be clear, it's just seeing someone who I know is in so much pain and so frustrated. Just try to work through it and try to be there for everybody. I love seeing him with his grandkids. Not every man sees another man who's upset or hurting and says something about it, and he asks. He asks how I'm doing, and I ask how he's doing, and it's a mutual sense of care. And I don't know, but when you got somebody who's got your back, it's amazing. When you got someone who has your back and includes you, that means the world. Two other people I want to talk about who are no longer here, but they played a pretty big part of my life. One of them, his name was Morris. He was a police officer in my hometown, Ryan. He was a friend of my mother's, and he looked out for me. He wasn't as present as in, visible and talking to me, but he took care of me in ways that I never knew until much, much later. And, I think a lot of people said a lot of things about him, um, and I think it kind of highlights that good people can do bad things. I don't know if you've done anything bad, but um, good people can make mistakes, and I believe that everybody's got a shred of good in them. But he's probably the reason I stayed out of jail in high school or juvie or what have you. He was watching out for me, and oh God, the craziest memory was I had a friend that came to stay with me in high school, and he just asked if he could come spend the night for the week, and he stayed with me the week during the school week. And this is how oblivious I am. I had no idea why all of these popular kids, just started coming to my place, coming to hang out. I'm like, we're not close, we're not friends. I don't know why they're here, but whatever. Come to find out, he was hustling drugs and hustling through my mom's house, and the Morris called my mom and said, "You need to get that kid the fuck out of there. Your house is being watched." And she didn't tell me till afterwards. She's like, "Your friend's got to go home," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Is everything okay?" She's like, "He's got to go home." And all right. Drives him home, and on the way home, we had a long talk about why he had to fucking go. And I'm so grateful because, I hung out with a lot of people just because I was looking for anyone to give me attention or spend time with me. And I hung out with a lot of people I probably shouldn't have. People that were into bad shit. And I don't regret it because I think I was there for some people that really needed something, and they were there for me. But in a moment where if they would have just let the police come and find that in there, find a minor with drug paraphernalia in her house, myself and my sister could have been taken away from my mom. But somebody knew that I was a good kid who, got into some bad shit, but really had good character and meant well and knew that my mom was doing her best. He was like, "No, that kid's the problem. You need to get him out, and you need to tell your son." So Morris, I thank you for that. The other thing was the last person I want to mention is James. James passed. He was my stepdad for a while, and I never got along with him while he and my mom were together. I say that, it's not true. There was always this rift, and it's like I don't know what he didn't like about me, but there's things that I just didn't like about him, and I really think it stemmed from the way we met, which I won't go into detail, but basically I interrupted something. I bet you can figure it out from there. So there was always this like taint to our relationship, and honestly, one of my fondest memories with him, there's two. One of them is like I got a Dreamcast for Christmas one time, and we played through Resident Evil 3 Nemesis together. I said we played through it together. He did it. I just watched him. But it was like something we shared, and it was really cool because it's a really cool story, a really engaging game. The second part is we made a hovercraft together for my science fair project in like junior high or high school. I don't remember. But basically, I looked something up and then made a science experiment about it. It was not a fucking experiment. I just made a hovercraft based off of someone's guide online, and he helped me like perfect it and make it work really well. And then I went to the state over this, and when I look back on it, I'm like, I can see where, I did not do this thing appropriately because it wasn't an experiment, which I imagine a lot of kids do that. But anyway, it was like one of the few times we got along and we had fun. And years later, I was working at the gas station, Sticks Super Stop here in town, and I seen him. This is long after he and my mom had split up, and I told him, I said, I know we didn't get along, and I realized that I was a I was a huge part of that. I never gave you a chance. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you, and I thank you for being there. I realize you did a lot for me, and I'm sorry for being so hateful. And he just said, "Oh, okay, no worries," and then went away. And come to find out, he really appreciated that, and it meant a lot to me that he appreciated that, and that I did it. So I've talked for a while. I have a lot of love and respect for everyone that fulfills a parental role, and for all of you, male, female, biological, non biological, that have taken time out of your day and given true care and compassion to be there for somebody. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for your time.